This is Joe Pugh for IFLTV. We're here at the Wasserman office. What was it you called it? The Powerhouse.
The Tower of Power in the Strand, London. Here we are.
Right, before we talk about anything else, I want to talk about Dublin. Right.
That's a very broad question.
Yeah, well,
that broad.
There's a lot to talk about Dublin, but look, on IFL, we get a little bit of stick for covering Misfits.
Yeah.
But take away the boxing element just for 1 second.
Yeah.
What it all boils down to is entertainment. And no one can come to me and tell me that Saturday night weren't entertainment at its very, very finest.
I'd add to that. I mean, if you're gonna push it hard, you don't want to be a boxing purist. There were fights on there. The Dean the Great fight, for example. He's that's pro level. You know, that's not that could be on any undercard main event in a smaller show. He's building to cross over to the pros. He's had a lot of amateur experience as well, so I'm cheating a little bit by picking him out. But, you get all sorts. We had a Premier League win in there in Danny Simpson on Saturday. We had the biggest football influencer in Danny Aarons. We had certainly one of the most divisive characters in that space in HS Tiki Toki. We had Prince Nassim's Hamed's son making his first appearance with the great Prince Nassim obviously ringside. And then just casually sprinkled in there, we had a crazy concert from KSI and a massive rapper from the States called Trippie Redd. My son tells me he is one of the biggest.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it's not really my bag, but I had a look at him. He's absolutely ginormous. So that was, again, entertainment. What a night of entertainment. I think that the 24.5 years of promoting boxing, yes, it's crossover boxing. Yes, it's a different space. But in terms of being entertained, that Saturday night, Joe, would you disagree with me? It was phenomenally entertaining,
Got to go back to Dublin. Have to go back to Dublin.
We've already locked down even 2 dates for next year, so we are going back.
I like that. Before we talk about traditional boxing, next week Newcastle as well. Elle Brooke is becoming actually a really big star in this space.
Yeah, it's interesting because she's doing great work with Mark Tibbs. She's come through, beat Paige Van Zandt, obviously UFC legend, and she's one that will cross over to the pros. I spoke to her at the ringside on Saturday, and I said to her, "We'll soon be looking to bring you over." She's I think she's boxed 2 years. Yeah. And got serious power. Obviously, a massive following. So it makes sense for Misfits. Makes sense for her. It's always does big numbers. We've got the Stake Pro card on there as well, which is going to be interesting. Chris Avila sign up for that with Nate Diaz. So that's always an interesting call.
Nate Diaz going to be there.
He is indeed. He's coming over. Nate Diaz will be there. That'll be a nice interview for you to do.
I won't be there. But...
Yeah, well, whoever from the wonderful IFL does it, but it's going to be interesting. That's for sure. So yeah, it's sprinkled loads of fights as always, and Newcastle's always a fun town. They're going to have to act to struggle to push the funnest town after being in Dublin, but let's...
UK and Ireland, Newcastle and Dublin's probably the two best though, really. Okay, let's talk boxing. Tomorrow we are at Red Hill for Josh Kelly's media day. It's not long now, 3 weeks until the biggest fight of his career in front of the biggest crowd British boxing's ever seen.
Yeah, 94, 96, 98. I mean, as many as they can get in. It is, and for that card, it deserves 150,000 people in the venue. So amazing that this is obviously breaking records. It's not really a surprise though, is it? You look at that card. Riyadh season comes to London and has a card that you can't. I'm not going to answer a question when people mention the word undercard in the question, because it's not fair on the amount of quality fights on that card. It's simply a super card, and the final one happens to be Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois. We're coming to steal the show with this fight. The storylines, looking at it, trying to be a neutral, which I'm not, but trying to be a neutral, you just look at it and it's got such a storyline, doesn't it? You know, it's got Liam Smith coming off an up and down last year with Eubank obviously knocking him out in the first fight, and then the second fight coming undone. Many people saying that, you know, it wasn't the right Liam Smith in there. Okay, well, now's the chance to prove it. And I'm sure that's what he's coming to do. He's not coming there for a paycheck. He's coming there. He's absolute true pro, who's ticked every box from fighting the big names to winning world titles. So, you know, he doesn't need this in a way. So the fact he's there is a storyline in itself. You know, he is there to cement his position in the scene. Anything but a win for him is going to be not good. Josh has waited a long time for this moment. This is the breakthrough moment. Everyone in boxing knows about Josh Kelly's potential, coming out the amateurs, you know, the boxing style, which is, you know, very pleasing to the eye, obviously. But there's so much behind the scenes that we talk about, and it's my job as a promoter to talk about how, you know, what great space he's in, how good he looks, and everything. But this is the moment, you know, and this fight was something we tried to make early in the year. It could have filled any venue in the country. It's now on the card, the Riyadh season card, in front of 96,000 fans, breaking records. So it's going to steal the show. This is the one that you do not want to miss. You do not want to miss, because it's going to be a hell of a fight, but it's also going to be Josh's moment. We worked all the way towards this, and this is something that he is absolutely buzzing for.
You know, we like a story, certainly a sparring story. And yesterday on TalkSport, Josh Kelly was on there saying sparring was good against Beefy. Have you heard about these stories?
I've heard about them. I'll leave that to the fighters. Honestly, first of all, I wasn't there. I'll leave that to the fighters to do the talking on that. But it's always, you know, first of all, that's the beautiful thing about the British boxing scene. There's always a sparring story if they're a similar weight, you know. So, interesting, I'll say that. They will both know exactly what Josh means. So you can use it to build a fight up, but ultimately there'll be a reason why he said that. And Liam will know that. Liam's people around him will know that. Josh's people around him will know that. Adam will know that. But that's not for me as the big bad promoter to talk about.
Just two more. I've asked a few people this, but you are very much a neutral on this subject. If Anthony Joshua gets rid of Daniel Dubois and Tyson Fury beats Alexander Usyk, who would start a favourite, Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury?
Not playing politician here, but it depends how they get rid of him. So if
very political.
Let's assume that they have similar performances. You know, it's going to be Tyson's going to be the favourite. Yeah.
You actually think we'll see it?
I think to beat Usyk is a bigger one on the resume than beating Daniel Dubois. Although Daniel Dubois is a massively improved heavyweight right now. He's great to watch as well. I'm looking really forward to both those fights. Anthony Joshua, for me, has found spite in that ring, and I'm not talking about the Ngannou fight. I see that almost as a bit of a crossover fight. I've seen that on Misfits. But look at the Wallin fight. Now, I know Wallin. I promoted Wallin's early fights. Tough operator. Ask Tyson Fury. Wallin, tough operator. Really done a good job on Wallin. That fight, the spite in in AJ was very different. Obviously the Hellenius fight as well. To get those big guys out there, you know, and that was last minute. But it's the spite around him. There's a spite now. I think everything that from Rob McCracken to the other trainers to now Ben Davis, and that's all come together very nicely. So I do expect AJ to take care of business. But again, Don Charles, fantastic trainer. Dubois, much improved fight, interesting fight. I fancy Tyson to do it in the rematch. I do. So I think we will see AJ, Fury, AJ Fury, whatever we're going to call it. I'm treading on the egos here. I think we'll see that next year. I think we'll see that if they both lose. But yeah. I think it's a generational fight, a little bit like Oasis returning. It was always going to be, and it will always be. Fury AJ will happen.
Have you got your ticket yet for Oasis?
I don't. I'm after quite a few, so if anyone can help me, let me know.
I know you've got contacts. Come on.
Yeah.
Jamie Hardiman, shout out.
Not PUGH. It's a big shout out. Don't know what you're talking about. No. I mean, the one we got with the one that I've got to be at is the first song at Cardiff.
Are you going Cardiff?
That's the one I marked. That's the one I need to be at. The first, yeah, just to hear that. Got to be Supersonic first song.
No.
What song? This is one for the comments. Everyone's talking about, I want to hear this song, that song. What song do we not, what are you not fussed up? One that I don't want to, Wonderwall is one, I hope they drop it from the set list. I don't need to hear that again. I hope there's some good B-sides on there. Yeah. Stay Young, Stay Young. That takes me back to Earl's Court.
So I think they should have said, before tickets went on sale, we're not doing Wonderwall. So then it just gets rid of a certain...
it was brilliant at the time, but it's been covered too many times by too many people. I've heard it too many times. Crying Your Heart Out is a cracker they got to play. And please open with Supersonic. Please for me.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think
the first beat you want to hear with them back on stage is Supersonic.
I think they should open Vacuous. We Need Each Other. It's so fitting because we need each other.
Late though, they normally used to play it late, but let's see.
Did you see what HE said yesterday? He's going to make an offer for Noel to come out with Liam at the Joshua Dubois fight. He says he's going to inquire for the first performance to be at Wembley.
To be at Wembley, yeah. Oh, I mean that.
Now that is unreal.
Can 21st of September get any bigger? I guess so. The pressure's on. I mean, alone Liam Gallagher playing at Wembley around a night of boxing like that is that's one for the lads, isn't it? I'm allowed to say that these days. Lads and ladies, of course. Mustn't forget the ladies, but no, that. The thing is, people talk about Oasis, they talk about the music now, and I'm delighted that we've got new fans like you, Joe, who obviously weren't even born back then. But that's really important. But at the same time, I think from that time, it's not about the music. Was about that time. So it's going to be super interesting to have proper music fans of Oasis. And for me, I've got to say, I've got probably bands that I like the music more. But it was about that time. It was about that culture at that time. And yeah, there wasn't a away day where we didn't listen to Oasis at the time. So it was cool.
Right, just last one. I want to ask you about the memorabilia in here. Just these three photos. Yeah. Obviously, you with USYK, yeah. You with KSI, and you.
The first Misfits event. That was at the O2.
Did you know who KSI was at that point?
I did. Listen, my son introduced me to KSI many years before that. No, but I mean, you know, after the Logan Paul fights and stuff, even the boxing space, you couldn't look past KSI. This was the moment when I was lucky enough to hand in the Muhammad Ali trophy. That's when USYK in Russia beat Garcia, they're Russian.
That was outrageous in Russia at the time.
No comment. But that was the moment when he got crowned undisputed champion. Fantastic moment, and that is when my old man was put into the Hall of Fame. Rocky next to him. So yeah, there's some interesting pictures there.
That's quality. And then I just want to. There's a couple of magazines down here, Kalle.
Is there? Warriors, cool. This was
still one of the biggest fights you ever put on.
Yeah, this was the second. This was the second one. Yeah, this is the Mikkel Kessler Froch 2. It's probably still one of the favourite fights I've ever seen live. You're picking out some pictures here. Yeah, leaderboard with
right. Rank them 1 to 4.
Well, we're a bit different, so I don't put myself in any rankings.
All right, 1 to 3.
Right now, looking from a well, you got to go with Eddie and Frank. The question is in which order you put them in. Oh, you put me on the spot now, aren't you? I'm going to go domestically. I'm going to go Frank, and on international, I'm going to go Eddie. There I go.
Oh, here he is, politician. I'll see you in the House of Commons. Kalle, thank you very much, mate.
You very much,
Cheers.
Mate.